Hello everyone. I'm here today to give you a bit of a guide. This is different from what I usually do, but since I quite enjoy these weapons, we're gonna do a guide on the laser and the energy-based weapons, like the laser rifles and the laser shotguns and handguns and plasma weaponry. I'm pretty sure it doesn't work with the coral weapons because they're coral damage. I don't think they get the boost from this, but I'm gonna be showing how to like maximize damage and still like come out with a pretty good mech. Starting obviously with the your basic starter mech. We'll pull out the. We'll start with the Kurosawa, I think, because I quite like the Kurosawa. It's an interesting weapon, albeit a bit heavy. So first off, the first thing you want to do after choosing your energy weapon, of course, is to pick an appropriate generator. So the real ones you'll be looking at are the VP20C, um, 20A, 20B, and 20C. And you might want to use the NGI triple O, the coral generator, the bigger one. Um, just because it's also decent, gives you a lot of energy, while also giving you a lot of energy output, which is helpful. But I will say with these coral generators, you don't have to worry about energy supply efficiency as much, which is helpful. But you also have a really, really long energy recharge delay on your max. It's like the main issue. Now, your most powerful choice to give you the most of your damage would be the VE20B. And it gives you 150 in the energy firearm spec. It gives you a hefty amount of stamina. However, your energy output is not going to be crazy or anything. Only a slight bit better than the this. It'll only give you like a slight adjustment or a slight bonus over, say, the 20C, which honestly, in my opinion, probably the better generator. So we don't have a lot of weight currently, but we don't have to worry about that right now. We're probably gonna go with the 20C. It's my preference to one. The 20B is good and all, but it's just I feel like this one is just far and above better for overall usage. Um, does have a long time. So we're gonna go to legs next. I feel like this is like the most important part after generators, in my opinion. Like choosing your legs, kind of what you want to use. Um, a great choice is Hal's. Ephemera seems to be pretty good in this, but we don't have a lot of max load with that. I like reverse joints, but you know, I also do quite enjoy the bipeds, even though they have the worst kick kind of in the game. But we'll go with Hal legs. Now we'll pick our main arms. Um, when like probably want good recoil control along with good firearm specification. So not these ones. The RAD ones aren't the best for that. Um, the VP arms are pretty solid. So are the Mellanders. Well, not sacrificing too much, but I think Ephemera is decent enough. So we're only doing a rough kind of body. Everyone has their own preferences. A biped of obviously with like bigger mechs, you can use different specifications. So like if you're using a heavy mech, obviously you'd be more inclined to use the bigger coral generator. Uh, so if you can see, like I like having a decent chunk of energy supply as well, efficiency, because that means whenever our energy starts regenning after 1.87 seconds, it'll give a massive boost, which is great for mobile mechs. Seems like HAL gives you like the most, despite not giving you the best one. It's probably the generator supply adjustment. So we'll put on HAL. there as well. And we'll see what we can do with our main head. Heads are for fashion, honestly. Like, not many are like for much else. They don't really have that wide of an impact for the most part. So we'll go with the standard VP maybe, or this one, the upgraded one. But it's really up to you, whatever you prefer your head to be. Now we'll go for our, I think booster is probably next. So this really depends on what you prefer. A good base speed is always nice to have. This one puts down quick boosts for thing. This puts up quick boosts and speed. We're not really lightweight. The rockets, the NG one's pretty decent. But better for quick boosting. I don't think we'll be using melee weapons. We could be using melee weapons, to be fair. Yeah, there's too much for our arms, so we'll actually see here. We'll grab maybe some different arms with a higher arms load limit. Because our arm load is kind of bad. These are better for arm load, while also not sacrificing too much. We can still use another energy weapon, which is nice. Which means we can get more out of our high energy weapon spec. Probably want something a little bit smaller and not as energy consuming like the laser rifles. Too big. These two are too big, so like we'll go with this. Maybe you want to use an energy pistol or something. Maybe we need to change our legs actually. Now that I'm looking. HAL doesn't seem to be as good as some of these other legs. Kind of slow. We are notably slow. Lose efficiency, but we gain a lot of weight, I feel like, with that, so it's not too bad. Good thing about this is we have... No, I kind of want to keep it as is. I don't really mind the taking longer to grab our stuff. Now then you just throw whatever you want. Let's say bullet orbits are really pretty damn good. So you stick on bullet orbit there. You stick on plasma missiles. Plasma missiles are pretty good, or something like that, or maybe even the super speed blast. But we don't really specialize on that sort of stuff. So you stick on, like I said, the plasma missiles, and then you have your mech specialized for energy weaponry. And I'll show you the difference between like putting the good generator in for energy and having good regen versus having something that's not as good. So we'll pull out enemies, trainer AC, turn them off. So the energy rifle, we get 300 a hit on the 128 firearm specification. The Kurosawa, we get 364 on our basic hits. So then let's say we change to a worse generator. Let's say we change to this one. It's 100, it's 28 less specification, and then we fire with this one, 263. It's already like a 47 DPS decrease on the laser rifle compared to the Kurosawa. That's also I don't know if that's as much, but it's still like a decrease in damage from the, what is it, like this is 320 versus, put on the better generator, this is 364. It's not as, it's around like 40 something damage. It won't affect your missiles, like your plasma missiles and stuff. They will always do the same damage. and I don't think it affects coral weapons. I'm pretty sure from what I tested. So you these are really helpful. Now this one, there's a big problem with this generator, and it's the energy output is horrendous. So you will get really bad energy supply efficiency. So when your energy does regen, it won't be very fast. So you'll slowly trickle back your energy. I don't think it's that bad, as bad as I'm letting it on to be, but it's not great. Like our energy output goes from 5,000 to 3,000, 5,100 to 3,600, which isn't great. Our energy output with this one is worse. This one is better. Like I feel like these blue generators are honestly the best for most builds. There's a few like this one that is quite solid, but it doesn't supply a lot of energy, so you'll regen every second, but the regen will be kind of slow, not that fast, but you can, you know, you'll constantly be regenning. So for energy builds, it's real good to use a good generator. Like if you pull out like let's say the worst generator of the bunch. Oh wait, we can't sort. It's not good enough. Okay. Uh, this one, not this one. No, this one. We have to use that one. The rest are all better. So we like use this one. Use charge sack. It goes from like 1,200 to 900 damage. So like it shows how much of an influence these generators have over the overall damage of the energy weapons, and it takes them from being kind of mediocre to being extremely powerful, in my opinion. They're super worth using with especially with the ability to power them up so much. And they're primarily the weaponry I use for the most part because of how effective they are and how fun you can play with them at like range. Like with Kurosawa, the effective range is 620, which is pretty nice. I mean, like what's not to like? Like high range with Kurosawa, but I think that's because it's all AoEs. With like the plasma weapons, they have huge range because they're all AoE based. Um, with the laser weapons, they all have pretty good like damage ranges. Like even the shotgun is 130, which is pretty solid for a shotgun. Like pretty damn solid hits, but like you'll want to be within these ranges to hit with them mostly. The energy pistols have some sinister range. Like the ideal range on the laser handgun is insane. 190. The super laser rifle, the big one, 206 ideal range, 324 effective range. The medium rifle is like so nasty. It has like 220 ideal range, which is pretty big for a weapon to have, and 382 on its effective range is pretty nice as well. Like all the laser rifles work around like 220 to 280 to two I'd say 220 to 240 meters with the laser rifle. This one being like around 240 with against a good defended opponent and stuff. They're all pretty nasty, and they're relatively fast fire rate, even though they are overheat weapons. Compared to the like you know the assault rifles, the kinetic rifles and stuff, which have 180 meters to the higher is 195. Like none of them really reaching that 200-meter mark. Like their effective range, despite being like pretty damn high, would still leave them, in my opinion, probably a little underneath the laser rifles. They their effective range factored in of kinetic rifles put them at around the range of the laser rifle, which would probably be 220 meters, if not they only get maybe like 210 meters, but like that's not much to be honest. But compared to like this laser rifle and this laser rifle, they'll have less effective range against heavier armored opponents and stuff, and they won't be nearly doing as much damage overall, since the energy weapons just do way more damage. The only downside of these energy weapons, for the most part, is that the impact damage of these weapons, let's say compare the lower end energy rifle to these weapons, and you're looking at, you know, they need to buff the Curtis, to buff the Curtis again. I'm looking at these stats, like they'll all do like way more impact damage. Well, we'll not look at that one because Curtis is just kind of, that's a sad. It's kind of sad. 100 less damage and only 35 more impact. That's pretty bad. Looking at the Harris then, the Harris is like double the impact, even more than double the impact, honestly. Like nearly triple the impact and all that. Way more cumulative impact. The Rensetsu assault like burst rifle has way more impact. The Turners have a higher fire rate, I'm pretty sure, so they impact more. Uh, but I don't really like these ones, the Scrudder and the Turner. They're all right. They have more fire rate, so they're obviously going to be doing more impact, maybe even more damage. But they're going to be they have way less ideal range and stuff, so that's going to be their kind of downside. The Ransatsu assault rifle, more impact, less damage, more cumulative impact. Like, and then I feel like, compared these rifles to the energy rifles, it's like you can really only compare them to the standard laser rifle, because if you go any higher, like they start getting completely outclassed by by the time you get to the big energy rifle, you're pretty much completely outperforming them outside of just charge attack impact. Like the standard attacks of these guns, they're no joke of the energy guns, especially when you consider this is the base damage, and that when you're using, let's say, the generator with 150 base scaling, the 150 base scaling generator is much, much more powerful. You get like 25% increases on 778 damage. I think you're doing upwards of 1,100 damage. I haven't done the calculations. I actually might do it right here now, since it's pretty insane. So like 778 times 25% on the best generator. Oh wait, no, that's whoops. 778 times 25%. Yeah, actually. So you're getting 194.5 more damage. I don't know if they round up or down, but if you just add that to the 778, you're getting around 972, 973 damage on single shots. And we're not going to touch the charge attacks and the fact that the generators actually firearm energy spec makes charge time go down as well. So like they can charge quicker. It's pretty insane. Like energy weapons are insanely underrated in my opinion, and that's why I'm going to do this video on them to kind of shine a light on how powerful they are. Like they are nothing to scoff at. Each of them are so good, but like the 25% increase obviously is on the best generator, and you'll probably be using the one with 128 spec, which I think is only a 14% increase, but 14% is still a lot on weapons that are doing upwards of 800, 500, 300 damage. And that's not even going into the shotguns and the plasma rifles and stuff, which I'm pretty sure also get the boost from these weapons. Now, the only thing, as I said, that doesn't get this kind of boost is the coral rifles, the missiles. I'm pretty sure we can actually see them on the generators. This spec does not affect weapons with independent energy outputs such as melee or plasma missile launchers. So it doesn't affect the plasma missiles, it doesn't affect melee weapons that are using energy blades, which is a little unfortunate, but hey, they still have melee specification, but I don't think it affects Coral either, because Coral is its own damage type, and Coral, its gimmick is it's not resisted by anything, which makes it quite powerful in doing damage to people because they don't resist it at all. So it's kind of always hitting directly past your defenses. It'll always hit at its maximum, I'm pretty sure, effective range for its standard shots and stuff. So it's pretty damn good. It's pretty damn good. Anyway, it doesn't need it. But I think that's really it. Like you just have to, sort your build out to being really good at doing energy. The rest of it is just working around with the energy you got to make sure you have good energy, like decent energy capacity, decent supply efficiency, which means you regen better, better, you know, decent delay. Like delay, I don't think is the biggest deal in the world, especially not if you're using like a mobile mech, kind of like a mobile one that can keep going around and stuff. Um, just keep your energy ticking over, staying out of trouble, staying out of harm's way. You can play at a decent range with these as well. So you can set of like machine guns range for a good bit. Like they'll catch you with a few stray bullets at times, but at the same time you can keep yourself out of their effective ranges quite well with these because you're working with 100 extra meters. You can keep away from them. It's pretty good. You want like good output because I'm pretty sure improved by generous but higher earning pipeline cores improving energy. Uh, yeah. So higher volume means you can higher more effort for. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, with more efficiency, it's I'll do this as well, but basically, say I'm boosting around, and then I wait my time, and then I regen. What energy supply efficiency determines, I'm not sure exactly how the math goes into it. It determines how quickly that bar regens. So let's say I have way worse. Let's go all the way down to this. Let's say I have way worse regen. So 2 seconds, and then it's super slow to regen. That's actually perfect, like to show like the difference in speed and regen, as you can see. Like it takes upwards of 1 and 2 and about 3.5, 2.5 seconds to regen my full bar with an energy efficiency supply of like 1,500. And then compare that. This is why I prefer the 20C over the 20B, by the way, because look at this efficiency. Look how fast my regen will be. It's full. It took 3 seconds for the one. It took about a second for this. So 1 and 2 and full. Takes about half a second to recharge up. Pretty solid, all things considered. The rest you'd be thinking about is what your kind of preferred booster is. I haven't really gotten into the whole assault boost kind of playstyle yet, but I haven't really looked too deeply into it. I'm not sure exactly how it works. It's probably harder to use on console than it is to do on PC. But whenever I do get the hang of it, it'll definitely be very fun. So maybe a different booster is in line for that. But my preferred boosters are the Alula 21E and IB dashed Co 3B NGI 001. And then obviously FCS, you want to do something. You probably want to use VE21B or the Wilt 001. I prefer the VE21B because you're not really going to be wanting to be in close range. You want to be in the mid to long range, which are those like 130 260 meters. To be honest, to be honest, actually, thinking about it, you probably don't want this unless you're using like let's say Kurosawa, which I feel it's sad because there's not there's not enough weaponry to like justify these, because honestly, you're probably better off using something like this. You get like decent missile lock on with that as well. Thinking on it now, like my builds could just use this here and stay at like 200 and something meters versus the V21B, which is honestly like I've been making mistakes and thinking now on it. Like most energy weapons will fall within the mid range. There's no real true long range weapons, but I think that'll do for this guide. I hope you enjoyed and hope this helped. But hope you enjoy laser weapons as much as I do.